What's up, guys? Mr. Schwarman here. I am recording a little video to start teaching a little bit about JavaScript. So this is intended to be the first video in the series, so start here. If you've seen this one, go to the other ones. So what is JavaScript? JavaScript is a scripting language that exists within HTML. So what I've got for you here is right here I've got my Notepad++, which is, this is a free software program. It's like Notepad, it is a text editor, but it has some built-in functionality where it shows some colors, some formatting that just makes it a little bit easier to understand, like than when we look at our usual Notepad where it's all text. So this is Notepad++. And so here in Notepad++, I've got an HTML document that you should be familiar with at this point. You know, I've got my opening tag HTML, my closing tag HTML, and we can see things we're familiar with, right? The title, first site, that shows up here in the title of the tab. My heading, this is the first site, this is the first site. And so we see that HTML stuff that we're familiar with. What we're maybe less familiar with is right here. This is a script. And so this script tag, you know, so the angle bracket script starting it and closing it, that tells HTML that this is JavaScript. So this is a scripting language. So anytime you have a script, it's got to be enclosed in the scripting tag, just like this. And this one is really simple. So I'm going to show you what this one does. This one has a thing called an alert. And so look here, it says alert, this is a website, and then alert to. And you've probably seen this before. I'm going to refresh the page because the first time I open the page, you get an alert. This is a website, alert to. So those two alerts, not Notepad, let's open Notepad++. This is a website too. They both show up. So this little pop-up window that you have to click OK, like I can't even interact with the website until I click OK, and then the website loads. That's called an alert in JavaScript. And here's the syntax. It's really simple. Alert, and then what you want it to say. A few things to notice. Right here, this is a website. You'll see, in addition to the parentheses, I've enclosed it in these little quotation marks. So in JavaScript, if you want to put like words like this is a website. That's what we call a string. That's a data type. We're going to talk more about data types later. But if you want a string, you've got to put it in quotation marks. And you can do single quotes, you can do double quotes, or you can do up here backticks. These all will work. And again, we'll see in Notepad++ that when I put these in both in backticks, everything, the color codes, but I'm going to keep it in single quotes like I had it for now. Another thing that I want you to see is this right here. So this line, right now, this line has this little bracket, exclamation, dash, dash, and then dash, dash, bracket. What this is, and the reason in Notepad++ it turns up green, this is a comment. So a comment is something that you write in code that you don't actually want the computer to run. So my scripting language is basically ignoring this. When Google Chrome loads this page, it just doesn't look at this. It thinks, hey, this is text you don't need. And normally we call it comments because you would, in well-developed code, you would say, well, this is what the code does. But a little hack that I'm using here that we do sometimes is we simply use a comment to like turn a section of code off. And I could turn it on, well, I could turn it on by like just deleting the characters I don't want. And if I delete those characters, it becomes, it's no longer green, it's no longer weird, it's the same as this, and it is an alert. But you'll see I've labeled here, this doesn't work, and you're gonna see why, but I'm gonna save it. So I'm gonna go File, Save, or Control S. I'm just gonna save it. I'm gonna refresh my page. And we know what my page should do is give me this as a website and 2 as alerts. But it doesn't do that. And the reason it doesn't do that anymore is because this is a string, but I have not enclosed it in my ticks. And so it can't run this. It sees this and it's like, what's going on? I don't know what you want me to do. And it breaks. So if I want it to work, I could put it in here. I'll do double quotes just to show they work. I'll save it and I'll refresh it. And now this is a website 2, and this doesn't work. Now it does work because I changed it. But that's the thing I just want you to see is why syntax matters, is that if I don't put in my quotation marks to tell it it's a string, it won't work. Another nice thing you can do in Notepad++ is you can highlight something and then Control Q to comment it, uncomment it. So that's a little hack. I'll say, okay, I'll get that out of the way. I want to have that here in the lesson, but I don't want it to run when I run the code, so I'll comment it out and I'll save it. And there we go. We've learned a little bit about scripting, a little bit about alerts in JavaScript. We've learned a little bit about a string and how you need the quotes to make it work. And we've learned a little bit about commenting out code. So there you go. There's your first JavaScript tutorial.